If you turn to page 11 of the PDF, then we'll continue from where we stopped at the Untouchable, right? So here we are given a description of the life of Baka, B-A-K-H-A. Baka is what is known as an untouchable. He is an untouchable. Nowadays they are called Harijans, a name given by Gandhiji, and they are also known by as Dalits, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, so on and so forth. This story, Untouchable, by Mulk Raj Anand, is a sketch of the life of one such untouchable, right? So, as I said, the name of this untouchable is Baka, and we have already seen how he lives, where he lives, and the mud hut that he lives in, the polluted stream which runs by his house, the given description of the people he associates with. For example, in those days, in the 1930s and 1940s, when the novella was written, novella is a small novel. When this novella was written, the British were still stationed in India. So Baka wants to mix with the British Tommies. Tommies are the British soldiers, and they dress differently. They're cleaner, and Baka looks up to them. They're models for him. They're role models for him. So given a description of all this in the previous part of the lesson, right, of the novella, and I put that information on the YouTube channel. I sent it to the group. Okay, so now we'll continue from where we stopped last time. So we're on page 11 of the PDF, last paragraph. A sharp tremor of cold ran through his hot, massive frame. So a tremor is, a tremble, when you tremble. When you feel intense cold, for example, if you go out at 3 a.m. in the morning in winter, then you start to tremble. So now, Baka is inside, it's night time, and it's intensely cold. So a sharp tremor is he starts to tremble. It ran through his hot, massive frame. So he's feeling both cold and hot at the same time. So it's partially because of his surroundings. We're told what sort of hut he lives in. Right? It's a one-room hut in which he shares with 3 of his family members: his sister Sohini, his brother, and his father. It's a small house, and there's only one window, and there's absolutely no ventilation, and they have to lie on the mud floor and things like that. So it's partially because of the surroundings that he feels both cold and hot at the same time. He's feeling almost feverish, right? The hair of his body almost stood on end. For example, if you're going somewhere in the dark and suddenly a group of dogs, stray dogs, rush out at you from somewhere, the fear you feel at that time, that will make your hair stand on end, right? So the hair of his body almost stood on end. So for some reason he's feeling afraid also. He turned on his side. Now it's night time, he's lying on the floor or on the cot. He turns on his side and waited in the half dark for something he knew not what. So it's almost like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, he's still awake. He turns on his side and he waits for something. So his mind is also, sort of wandering, right? Not only is his health, his physical body sort of feverish, his mind is also wandering, right? So, okay, these nights were awful. In general, the nights in that town. We're told the name of that town before in one of the previous parts. Bulandshahr. It's in the north. So, in the north, the winter is extremely harsh, right? So that's what we do. These nights were awful, right? Nobody can stand the cold. So cold and uncomfortable. He liked the days because during the days the sun shone and he could, after he had finished his work, brush his clothes with a rag and walk out into the street, the envy of all his friends and the most conspicuous man in the outcast colony. Right? So he liked the days better. Why? Because in the days the sun shone, of course. And after his work was over, after the day's work was over, he could brush his cloth with a rag. A rag is a small piece of cloth. He could wipe his clothes with a small piece of rag. And what clothes were they? They were the clothes of the British Tommies. They had these starched pants, these cream-colored pants, this cream-colored army tunic, and he probably had a solar topi. You must have seen on TV the uniform of the British in those days, the white hat, right? The solar topi. And he could brush his clothes with a piece of cloth, with a rag, and walk out. And he would be the envy. Everybody would be jealous of him. He would be the envy of his friends, of all his friends, and the most conspicuous man in the outcast. Conspicuous means, if anyone dresses like that in an outcast colony, in all the other outcasts they were wearing lungis, dhotis, torn clothes. If anyone dresses in a British army uniform and walks out in the outcast colony, then everybody would look at him like this. He would be the most conspicuous man, right? He would be the most conspicuous man in the outcast colony, right? But that's why he liked the days better. But the nights, I must get another blanket, he said to himself. Then father won't ask me to put a quilt on. Quilt is a small rug, quilt, Q-U-I-L-T, right? So then his father is still there, and he won't ask him to put the quilt on. So his father would wake up in the middle, Baka, put the quilt on your blanket. So it's a Baka things, I must get another blanket, must buy another blanket, right? He always keeps abusing me. So his father, because of his age, because of his, he's become crabbed, C-R-A-B-B-E-D. Crabbed means very irritable, gets irritated easily, right? So he's very crabbed and irritable and keeps on scolding his children, right? For no reason, right? And he always keeps abusing me. Okay. I do all his work for him. So whatever has to be done for the father is done by Baka. He appropriates the pay, all right. Appropriates means he takes away. It doesn't mean appropriate is suitable. If something is appropriate, then it's suitable. But here, appropriate doesn't mean that it's suitable. He appropriates means that he takes away all the pay. So Baka works, in the British Army barracks, right? And he cleans the latrines, and every month end he gets the salary, right? So you see, he gets a salary, but he has to give it to his father. His father takes away all the pay, right? He is afraid of the sepoys. The father, Baka's father, Laka, is afraid of the sepoys. They call him names. He abuses me. So Baka is in this situation, right? He is happy when they call him Jamidar. Jamidar means the leader of the sweepers, right? He's happy when they call him Jamidar. So proud of his Izzat. Izzat is honor, right? So to be called by a title in an old age is something, Okay. He just goes about getting salams from everybody. So wherever he goes, people salute him. They salam, right? So, I don't take a moment's rest. Now what about Baka? He has to look after his father. He has to give him the pay. He has to do all his work for him. I don't take a moment's rest, and yet he abuses me. Right? And if I go to play with the boys, he calls me in the middle of the game to come and attend to the latrines. Attend to the latrines means Baka has to clean the latrines. He has to put water, the Indian style latrine in those days. Or worse, it was just a hole in the ground, and the people would do their, washroom business in the hole, and that hole has to be cleaned manually, or it has to be washed, or with so many. So this is what Baka's work is. That's why he's called an untouchable, because of the nature of his work. See, if you clean the latrines, nobody will come near you. You're untouchable, right? See, so Baka says, if I go out to play with the boys, he's still a young boy, he goes out to play, his father calls him to come and clean the latrines. Always do your duty. Always be working, right? He's old. He doesn't know anything of the Sahibs of the British colonies, right? And now he will call me to get out, and it is so cold. Now it's almost, I don't know what time it is, probably 3, 4, 5. He'll call me to get out, and it is so cold. He'll keep lying in bed, and Raka and Sohini will still be asleep when I go to the latrines. And Raka is his brother. Raka and Sohini is his sister. Raka and Sohini will still be asleep when I go to the latrines. So he's the eldest, right? He wrinkled his dark, broad, round face with the irritation that came up into his being. So he wrinkled his dark, broad, round. His face is dark, black, broad face, not like pointed. He has a broad face, like this sort of nose, right? He wrinkled his dark, broad, round face with the irritation that came out. So he's feeling irritated. He has to get up. So see, when you feel irritated, your face will show. Like, see, he wrinkles his face. Right? He lets his emotions show. Right? He wrinkled his dark, broad, round face with the irritation that came up into his being, and made his otherwise handsome features. So he's got handsome features, look knotted and ugly. Knot is like, you have a rope, and you can tie a knot in it, right? So his face became like knotted, and actually he's handsome, but because of his, frown, this is the frown with the eyebrows meet, and the expression of irritation, he looked ugly, right? And thus he lay awaiting his father's call, hating to hear it. He's waiting at 5 o'clock in the morning, waiting to hear his father's call, yet lying anxiously in expectation. At the same time, he's anxious, he's worried, not worried, he is looking forward to his father's call. The rude bullying order to get up. Hey Baka, get up. Bullying, will actually be bullying. Hey Baka, get up. What are you doing, you son of a... This sort of thing. Right? Get up, oh hey you Baka. Oh hey son of a pig. Came his father's voice, sure as the daylight, from the midst of a broken, jarring, interrupted snore. Right? So, his father was snoring one moment, then suddenly he wakes up, and that snore is jarring. Like when you're really about to fall asleep, and someone starts snoring in front of you, that feeling you get, that's a jarring feeling, jarring. Jarring is also when someone comes and, hits you on the back without you knowing, without you expecting it. That is also a jarring, right? And so, see, okay. Came his father's voice, sure as the daylight, from the midst of a broken, jarring, interrupted snore. Get up and attend to the latrines, or the sepoys will be angry. The old man seemed to wait instinctively for a moment. So instinctively, we all have instincts. Like we have the instinct to eat, we have the instinct to sleep. We should have the instinct to read and study also. But all these instinctive behaviors, right? So his father woke up almost instinctively at that time, right? At 5, 6 a.m. He woke up instinctively for a moment, just about that time every morning. Around that time he woke up instinctively, and then to relapse into his noisy sleep under the greasy, thick, discolored patch. He'd wake up at that time, then he'd relapse into the sleep. He'd wake up, Baka would get up, and his father would relapse into the sleep. And where did the father sleep? Under the greasy. It's not been washed. The quilt has not been washed. It's a greasy, thick, discolored. Discolored means the color is faded. Discolored, patched quilt. Also it's been torn and it's been sewn. Patched. When you have a door there, you patch it. Right? So that quilt is also like that. It relapses into the sleep. Now you see, as you can see, this is a very detailed, sensitive portrait of the untouchables. Nobody will actually, write about it, right? Everybody will just try to subjugate them, or they'll try to make use of them. They won't pay them if they do the work, isn't it? But here you have such it's a work of art. See, even to describe the quilt, even to describe the reaction of Baka when he wakes up, his feeling of irritation, his dark, broad face became irritated with the irritation, became wrinkled with the irritation wrinkled. Such a minute, observation. We all see it. We see people going on all around us. But this is the difference between an artist and an author like Mulk Raj Anand, and us. See in what fine detail he describes. What we also see, right? We go into any hut, on the outskirts, something. This is what you see. But you'll never think of making a pen portrait like this, right? This is the difference between a true artist and us, right? Baka half-open designs. Look at that. Baka half-open design. It look like this. Baka half-open design is sleeping and tried to lift his head from the earth as he heard his father shout. Tried to lift his head from the earth. It's a mud floor. He doesn't have a pillow. He's lying like this. He tried to lift his head from the mud floor as he heard his father shout. He was angered at the abuse. He was already feeling rather depressed that moment. He was angered. Now you may ask, why do parents, shout, scold? What is the use? All of us have been gone through that treatment. Okay, all of us. Now why? See, what is Baka feeling? Here you get to see one of the answers. He's feeling angry. His father has just shouted at him. What does Baka do? He's feeling angry. But what does anger do? Anger makes him quite alert. He gets up to do the work. He may be feeling angry, but he does his work all right. Right? He does his work. Every month he gets a pay. See that? If his mother was alive, and his mother says, "Oh, Baka, wake up. Nahi maan, 5 minutes or go back to sleep." Do you think you'll do any work? Do you think you'll go to lift up anything into the trees? Huh? Do you think you'll clean the tree? See, this is one of the uses. Isn't it? We all wondered, why? What is the point? I have wondered this. I don't know about you. Why do the parents scold us? Why do the teachers scold us? Because at that moment, you get alert. Okay, you see, very simple. See, he was angered at the abuse. He was already feeling rather depressed that morning. Also feeling sad. What to do? He was feeling angry and sad, and he has to clean up. See, that is life. But he won't do it any other way. If you were mollycoddled means, no, baka, wake up. Here's the tea, here's your... You'll never do anything. Right? That is the goal actually. Having a glass of tea, having some breakfast. That is the goal, isn't it? That's why you work. You work to feed yourself. But if given that without working, it's a fine balance. You can't keep on expecting a child or a boy or a child to keep on working. The more you abuse it, you keep on abusing it, you don't expect it to do more. You become, it's a fine balance. Right? You get this idea, you make a child or someone angry and they're doing the work. Keep on making them angry. You expect that? No, it's not like that. See, okay. The high cheekbones of his face. So these are the cheekbones, the bone here. The high cheekbones of his face became pallid with sullenness. Pallid is pale with sullenness. Now you can't do anything. See, also that state of mind, sullen. When you're scolded by a parent, the feeling you have is sullen. You sulk. It's an exaggeration to do this. But the feeling, that dark feeling you get, somber feeling you get, is sullenness. Right? His mind went back to the morning after his mother's death. So now he remembers his mother. See what the difference between an artist and us is. What does Mulk Raj Anand say? His mind went back to his mother's death. Why does he remember his mother at that time? Can you see? Here, what Mulk Raj Anand is doing is, he is giving a picture of what Baka is thinking at that time, at that particular moment. When he is scolded by his father, when he is feeling sad, he remembers his mother. It's natural, isn't it? It's natural. Because his mother always comforted him. His mother always gave him so many things he wanted. His mind went back to his mother's death. When, although he was awake, his father thought he was asleep. So when his mother was there, he would be awake, but his father would think he was asleep because he turned his face to the wall and he just lie there when his mother was there. He'd think his mother, okay? When his father thought he was asleep and presuming he was never going to get up and shout at him. So, what shout his name? That was the beginning of his father's subsequent early morning shouts. When his mother had passed, right, that was the beginning of his father's subsequent, all the coming subsequent early morning shouts. 5 o'clock he shouted Baka. On the day of his mother's death, Baka had laid father had shouted. Since then he had been shouting. So this is one memory he has, right? One memory of he has in the past. His mother's death, since then his father has been shouting. That was okay, which he had begun at first to resist with a casual deafness, and which he now ignored irritatingly. In the beginning, he had resisted it. He had resisted his father's shouting, not by answering him back. He had just switched off by casual deafness. Like this, casual deaf. He's not actually deaf. You hear it, but you pretend not that it wouldn't affect him so intensely. You just do a casual deafness, and which he had now ignored, irritated. Now he ignored his father, shout, irritated. Right? It was not that he couldn't get up, because ordinarily he woke up from his slumber quite early. He woke up from his slumber quite early. It's not that he could not get up. His mother having habituated him to it. Habituated means ever since Baka was almost like an infant, like around 1 year, 2 years old, his mother had woken him up early. He'll wake up at 5, 6. So his mother had habituated him. It's not that he could not wake up early. Ever since, this is the training the mother gives. Right? Having habituated him to it, she had become a habit to wake up early. She used to give him a brass tankard. Tankard is like this, a big glass like this, like a big glass cup, hold it like this. Okay? And this tankard was made of brass. She used to give him a brass tankard full of a boiling hot mixture of water, tea leaves and milk. So she used to give him a brass tankard full of a boiling mixture of hot tea leaves, milk and water, like tea. Right? From the steaming earthen saucepan that always lay balanced on the 2 bricks with the space in between the fireplace in the corner of their one-room house. It's a one-room house. In the corner of their one-room house, there were 2 bricks. 2 bricks placed on the floor. And on these 2 bricks there was a saucepan. And under the saucepan there was a fire. And in the saucepans, there were always something cooking. Usually in the mornings, what would there be? There would be some water, there would be some tea leaves, and there would be some milk. Hot tea and sugar probably. So she would make tea in that, and she would give it to Papa in a brass tankard, and he used to do it like this. That's when his mother was there. See, now he's getting memories of his mother at that time. See how sensitively Mulk Raj Anand portrays. Right? It was so delightful. He remembers that. It was so delightful, the taste of that hot, sugary liquid, sweet liquid, and Baka's mouth always watered, mouth would water on the night before the morning on which he had to drink it. So, in the night, before he went to sleep, he remembered the tea he get in the morning, and his mouth would start to water before he went to sleep. The next morning he would get that tea. Right? See, and after he had drunk it, he used to put on his clothes and go to work at the latrines, happy and content. This is how his mother used to treat him. See, his father had immediately jumped in, trying to make Baka work from a young age. Hey Baka, slap, 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 wake up, go to the latrines, this is what we have to do, clean the latrines. His father had jumped in and made him. When Baka would come of age, his father had treated him like that, he'd just walk away. Walk away, out of that one, straight up. But what had his mother done? She had given him comforts. She had made him feel good. She had given him a hot cup of tea. She would wake him. She had habituated him to it. And he'd go to the latrines, happy and contented. And clean the latrines. And now he still doing it. See? This is how partially theory of education. What is that? You must make the child like what he does. At the same time, you must be strict. You keep on scolding him, expecting him to do something, like Baka is being made to do something. Keep on scolding him, never do it. Or when he comes away, you just walk out. Or do something else. Rebellious. You must make him love you. This is the difference between a mother and a father. Okay. One is strict, the other is caring. This is how Baba has grown up. And he still does it. Even after his mother has passed away, he still does it. But that is irritating because his father. Right? So when his mother died and the burden of looking after the family fell on him, there was no time to look for such comforts and luxuries as an early morning tumbler for work. It's a luxury. Early morning tumbler for work. So he learned to do without it. He learned to do without the tea. Looking back, however, with fondness to the memory of Jesus. Remember that. Fondly. When he lived in the enjoyment not only of the tasty, spicy delights of breakfast. Tasty, spicy delights of breakfast. Right? Mother used to cook him tasty, spicy food. But of all the splendorous details of life, the fine clothes which his mother bought him, the frequent visits to the town, and the empty days filled with play. Mother is often like she take him to the towns and buy him so many things, and the empty days filled with play. That's how the child should grow up. It should be allowed to play, not just reading. It must be allowed to play also. Right? He often thought of his mother. The small dark figure, certainly small dark figure, swayed simply in a tunic. Swayed means, see, some women, they wear the clothes very great, costing great detail. But Baka's mother, she just put something on, turned it around, swayed. Right? Swayed means just put something on. Like you're swayed in bandages. Swayed in a tunic, a pair of baggy trousers, not tight, baggy trousers, and an apron, crouching as she went about cooking and cleaning the house. Crouching means you should go on the like this, you should crouch, cook and clean. Indian to the core and sometimes uncomfortably so, as she did not like his affecting European clothes. So Baka developed taste for European clothes. But his mother, no European clothes for you, she used to say. But so loving, so good, and withal generous, always giving, mother, giver of life. Right? Mahalakshmi. This is the picture that this untouchable, so-called untouchable, has of his mother. He thinks of his mother as Mahalakshmi. She is a living. Who is an untouchable? Is it Baba who is untouchable in reality? Right? See, can you or I ever imagine if we see those untouchables in this way? This is what an artist is. An artist, he sees Ravi Kanadu, Kavi Kanadu, Ravi Kanda. Ravi Kanadu, Kavi Kanda. What the sun cannot see, the poet can see. Ravi is the sun. Ravi Kanadu, what the sun cannot see, the poet can see. Into the mind of Nanda. He thinks of his mother as Mahalakshmi. He didn't feel sad, however, to think that she was there. He never felt sad. He couldn't summon sorrow to the world he lived in, the world whose English clothes and red lamps he wears. Because it seemed she was not of that world, had no connection. So his mother was not connected to his world. In his mind, is a fine distinction. His mother belonged to one type of life. He liked the British Tommy, he liked the red lamp cigarettes. Could not summon that memory to move into his life. So he didn't feel sorrow. He was living, what was he doing? Dressing in European clothes, smoking like that. He could not associate his mother with that. So he never felt sad. Again you see this distinction. The memory of his mother and the way he is living now, they do not mix where in his mind. This is what the author said. It's true. He doesn't feel sad. Right? Okay? Okay. So we'll stop there for today.